So in this video we're looking at a handheld that's marketed as a streaming device and a direct competitor to the PlayStation Portal. But I can tell you now it's a lot more than that. So without further delay, let's dive in. First of all, let's get the boring bit out of the way. This device was sent free of charge for review, but my opinions are my own and my own alone, and abxylute will not see this video before it goes live. So as you might know, companies are really pushing their streaming devices. Look what Microsoft did with the Amazon Fire TV stick. So this device, the abxylute One, is first and foremostly marketed as a streaming device, but because it's running Android, we can also use it for emulation. So a few of the things you can expect in this video, we're going to be running emulators on this device, of course, to see what it can and can't do. And we're also going to be testing out all the functionality of what the device was designed and marketed for, which is Xbox game streaming, streaming the PS5 to the device, pretty much a replacement for the PlayStation Portal, and then we're going to be streaming games from the PC as well. Play a little bit of Helldivers too. Now of course the first thing I like to do is an unboxing, so let's go ahead and do that first. So when I received the device from abxylute, they also gave me some of these thumb caps. Now I'm not too sure if you'll receive them if you buy the device or if it was just a little extra they sent across. As you can see, they didn't really waste any money on making a fancy box. It's just a plain brown box with an outline of the device and then some information on the side saying we got the 64GB model and it's in black. So let's get this opened up, see what's inside, and of course you will have some instructions. So you can read through this, it gives you a general idea how to use the device, but I'm not going to read them. Next, we have a USB cable, and it looks like USB-A to USB-C. Oh, and it's purple inside. That's unusual. Now I can actually confirm that this cable will do power and data. So we get a nice carry case with it. And that's unusual because not many companies that make handhelds will also give you a case. It's quite sturdy and I think it will do a pretty decent job at protecting your handheld. So let's have the first look at the device itself. Now, the first thing I thought when I seen this is, why is this thumbstick blue? Now I can see why they sent these now, because having that blue thumbstick, it's just not something that I would like to have myself. I would like it the same colour as the other side. I guess they're doing this for brand awareness and to be different, but it's just not really me. So the device itself is quite thin. It's got some weight to it, and it's a nice texture on the back to keep your hands sort of gripped on there. It's quite impressive when I first seen it actually. So if we look at the top of the device, we can see we have the volume rockers and a power button. And then if we look at the bottom of the device, we've got a USB-C port, 3.5mm headphone jack, and then an SD card slot. So let's go ahead and get the abxylute One powered up. We'll have a look at the UI, see sort of how everything's laid out and the user interface. Now off camera I did set this up, so there is a few things installed already. Now the user interface is pretty straightforward. We've got our applications as tiles and they kind of expand when you hover over them. Now I have installed a few things here like Redream, PPSSPP and DuckStation, just so I can test out some emulation. And of course, if you go into all apps, you're going to see them all here. We've also got file browser and we've got access to the Google Play Store. Now, we're not really going to dive into all the different settings, etc. You can actually customize the ABXY buttons, they're RGB, but we've got a lot to cover in this video. So we're going to just leave the user interface at that. It's pretty easy to use if you've ever used an Android device before. So now we've done the unboxing, let's take a closer look and compare its size to a few different other devices, mainly the PlayStation Portal. Then what we're going to do is we're going to see how it handles streaming the PS5 and put it head to head against the PlayStation Portal. Then we'll do some testing on other games, emulation, etc. All the good stuff. So as you can see, the PlayStation Portal is quite a bit bigger than the Absolute One. Now, I wouldn't really consider either device pocketable, but you're going to have a lot easier time taking the Absolute One around than the PlayStation Portal. Now, the Nintendo Switch OLED, on the other hand, is a lot closer to the footprint of the Absolute One. And it's about the same thickness as well. Now, as you can see, we've got the PlayStation Portal at the top and the Absolute One at the bottom. Now, we are playing Gran Turismo 7, same track, same cars. Obviously, they're not identical position in the race. Now, I did notice that the screen on the PlayStation Portal is slightly better, but it's not that much better where I would choose the Portal over the Absolute One. Now, I wanted to see if there was any sort of latency or extra lag. Although I am streaming in my house, it's not over the internet, from the PS5 with a Wi-Fi 6 router, etc. So there wasn't any noticeable lag on either device. And with those thumbstick caps that I put on the Absolute One, it was actually really easy to sort of get used to the device and start winning races. So at the end of the day, if you are looking to stream your PS5, then both devices are going to do it absolutely brilliantly. So next, I think we're going to move on to streaming Helldivers 2 from my PC with the app Steamlink. Now, just like the PS5, it was easy to set up and it's very responsive. I had no issues with it whatsoever. The only thing I did have an issue with is trying to work out the controls again, because it's been a while since I played this game. But as far as the gameplay and the experience went, it was really good. No complaints whatsoever. But leaving game streaming and going over to emulation, here's where I had a little bit of an issue. So using PPSSPP, the emulator, we're playing God of War Chains of Olympus. Now, although the FPS is not the worst I've ever seen, the audio was really choppy. Let's take a listen. Now, of course, I'm not saying that this is how every PSP game's going to run, because most people say that Chains of Olympus is one of the hardest games to run on a PSP emulator. But just don't get this device if that's the main thing you want to use it for. So let's take a quick look at some stuff that does run really well, like the PS1. We're playing Gran Turismo and there's no issues here whatsoever, so it's a great device for emulating the PS1 on the go. And of course, you shouldn't have any issues playing older stuff like Sonic the Hedgehog on the Mega Drive. You're going to be able to play N64, DS, Game Boy Color, Master System, Game Gear. So everything before the PlayStation 1 should run really good, giving you access to a massive back catalogue of games. I actually feel that it's not a very fair comparison comparing the Absolute One to the PlayStation Portal, because the PlayStation Portal really is a one-trick pony. You can stream your PS5 to it. That's it. No more, no less. But because the Absolute One has Android, you can install pretty much anything you want. So yes, you can stream the PS5, and as you've seen, it's a really good experience and I really enjoyed it. The only main difference is the Portal has got a slightly better screen on it, but I would sacrifice that for everything else that the Absolute One can do, and it comes in slightly cheaper than the PlayStation Portal. So if you were thinking about getting a Portal, don't bother. Get an Absolute One. You're going to have a great experience streaming the PS5. You can stream then Xbox Game Cloud. You can stream your PC. You can watch YouTube on it. There's so much more you can do with an Absolute One than a Portal. you'd be silly not to buy one. Now the emulation is not fantastic. I wouldn't really play PSP games on it, but PlayStation 1 and everything before is going to run fantastic. So I'm going to end the video here, but if you enjoy my content, you know what to do. Hit that like button, smash the subscribe button, and then give that bell a little tinkle so you don't miss any future uploads, because I've got some great videos coming soon. Also, consider joining the Patreon. There's a link in the description below where I give away devices all the time. We've just given away the RG35XXSP and we're going to be giving away the RG40XXH very soon. I'm JP, you've been watching Alien Gaming, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.